It is not quite 6 in the morning in Hanoi, and you are sitting on a plastic stool, roughly the height of a footstool, with your knees somewhere up around your ears, holding a bowl of soup that is almost too hot to touch. The soup is called pho. The broth has been simmering since the small hours, and it smells of star anise and charred ginger and something deeper underneath that you can never quite name. There is a woman ladling it out of a pot the size of a bathtub, and she has not stopped moving since before you arrived. And about a foot from your elbow, the entire city is going past on motorbikes. We mean that almost literally. The street is a river of them, thousands, a continuous current of people on their way somewhere, carrying children and crates of fruit and, once, memorably, a full-length mirror. There is no gap in it, no moment when the traffic stops and you cross. You simply step into the river and trust it to flow around you, which it does, and you sit there on your tiny stool, eating the best thing you have eaten in months, 6 inches from all that motion, and you feel completely, improbably calm. That is the first thing Vietnam does to you. It overwhelms you and soothes you in the same breath. Welcome to the empty afternoon. We plan journeys for a living, and Vietnam is a country we send people to more than almost anywhere, and also one we worry about, because it is so easy to get the shape of it wrong. People treat it like a list of destinations, a city, a bay, a beach, tick, tick, tick. And they miss the thing that actually makes it extraordinary, which is not any single place. It is the journey between them, because Vietnam is a long country, absurdly long. It runs more than 1,000 miles down the eastern edge of the Southeast Asian mainland, a thin curving ribbon, wide in the north and south, and pinched almost to nothing in the middle. And as you travel down its length, it changes, not subtly, completely. The food changes, the climate changes, the accent changes so much that northerners and southerners can struggle to understand each other. Even the temperament of the people changes, cooler and more reserved in the north, looser and more open in the south. Vietnam is not one place. It is a gradient, and the only way to understand it is to travel it from top to bottom and feel the country change underneath you as you go. So that is what we want to do in this episode. We want to take you down the length of Vietnam, north to south, and show you how the country becomes a different country 3 times along the way. Let's start where we start, the north. The north is the old soul of Vietnam, the cultural heart, the historical heart, and quietly, the cooler one. Hanoi has been the capital, on and off, for 1,000 years, and it wears that age openly. The center of the city is the Old Quarter, a dense tangle of narrow streets where, by tradition, each street sold one trade. A street of silversmiths, a street of tin, a street that still, today, sells nothing but funeral paper and votive offerings. You can feel the layers of history pressing in from every side. There are pagodas tucked between shop houses, and lakes where old men do tai chi at dawn, and crumbling French colonial villas the color of butter and rust, their shutters peeling, bougainvillea spilling over the walls. It is a city that has been many things and has kept a little of each. And then there is the coffee. The Vietnamese take coffee as seriously as anyone on earth and take it their own way. Thick and dark, dripped slowly through a little metal filter into a glass with a layer of sweetened condensed milk waiting at the bottom. You stir it together, and the bitterness and the sweetness meet, and you drink it slowly, on yet another small stool, watching the street. In Hanoi, they will also make you an egg coffee, which sounds alarming, and is in fact one of the great inventions of the 20th century. a whipped, custardy froth of egg yolk and sugar floating on top of the coffee, like drinking warm tiramisu. We could spend an entire trip just sitting in the coffee houses of Hanoi, and we have come close. From Hanoi, most people go east to the bay, the one you have seen in photographs, the seascape of thousands of limestone towers rising straight out of jade-green water, hung with mist. It is one of the strange wonders of the world, and here is the most important thing we can tell you about it. Do not visit it as a day trip. Sleep on the water. Take a boat, a proper, small, quiet one, and stay out overnight, so that you are there in the late afternoon when the day boats have gone home, and the bay falls silent, and the karst towers turn from gray to gold to black against the sky. You wake up the next morning with mist on the water, and the whole vast seascape almost to yourself. The day trippers see a postcard. The people who sleep out there see the place itself, and then, if you have time, you go up, north and west, into the mountains near the highlands, to the terraced country around Sapa. This is the Vietnam of the photographs that don't quite look real. Entire mountainsides carved into staircases of rice paddies, curving with the contours of the land, flooded silver in spring, and a deep, almost violent green in summer. The air up here is cool, sometimes cold, often wrapped in cloud, and the people are different again. These are the ethnic minority communities, the Hmong and the Dao and others, with their own languages and their own dress, who come down from the hill villages to the markets to trade. A morning at a highland market, with the indigo-dyed cloth and the livestock and the wood smoke and the cold mountain light, is one of the quietest, most human experiences the country offers. That is the North. Layered, cool, reserved, deep. Now we go to the middle, and the country changes again. The center of Vietnam is the elegant part, the historical, imperial, slightly melancholy middle. For more than a century, the country was ruled from here, from the city of Hue, on the banks of a river with the wonderful name of the Perfume River. At the heart of Hue is the citadel, a vast walled imperial enclosure built in the early 1800s with moats and gates and, inside, the forbidden purple city where the emperor lived. Much of it was damaged in the wars of the 20th century, and there is a faded, haunted grandeur to it now, grass growing between the stones, that we find more moving than if it had been kept pristine. You feel the weight of a vanished court. A little further down the coast is Hoi An, and we will be honest with you. Hoi An is one of our favorite small places anywhere in Asia. It was a great trading port centuries ago, where Japanese and Chinese and European merchants met, and because it was spared the bombing, the old town has survived almost whole. It is a riverside warren of low ochre-yellow merchant houses, and at night they hang it with silk lanterns, hundreds of them, every color, glowing over the water while paper lanterns with candles in them drift down the river. It should be unbearably touristy, and somehow it isn't, not if you walk it early or late. Hoi An is also the tailoring capital of the country. You can walk into a shop in the morning, be measured, choose a cloth, and collect a beautifully made suit or coat the next day. And the food in the center is its own cuisine entirely, lighter, fresher, full of herbs. With a few dishes you can essentially only eat properly in Hoi An itself. Between the imperial city and the lantern town runs one of the great drives in Asia, over a mountain pass that climbs up off the coast into the clouds and then drops back down, with the sea on one side the whole way and long, empty, pale gold beaches unrolling below. The center has those beaches too, wide, quiet stretches of the South China Sea, the warm middle of the country between the cooler north and the tropical south. That is the center, elegant, historical, a little wistful, beautiful to look at. And now we drop down into the south, where the temperature rises and the whole tempo of the country shifts into a higher gear. The south is fast. The south is hot, tropical, commercial, forward-leaning, the engine room. Its great city is Ho Chi Minh City, which everyone, including most of the people who live there, still calls Saigon. If Hanoi is a 1,000-year-old scholar, Saigon is a young entrepreneur who has had 3 coffees. It is louder, brasher, richer, more in a hurry. The traffic is even more astonishing than in the north. The rooftop bars look out over a skyline that grows another tower every month. There is an energy to it, a sense of a place rushing headlong into its future that is exciting to be inside of. But the South is also where you confront the war most directly, and we think you should. Vietnam tells that history honestly and without flinching at the War Remnants Museum in the city and out at the Cuj Hai tunnels, the extraordinary network the Viet Cong dug beneath the earth, where you can lower yourself into a passage barely wide enough for your shoulders and feel, for a claustrophobic minute, a fraction of what that war actually was. It is sobering, and it is told from the Vietnamese side, which is exactly the perspective most foreign visitors have never properly heard. You do not travel a country and skip the hardest chapter of its story. And then, finally, you go out into the Delta, the great fan of waterways where the Mekong River, after journeying thousands of miles across Asia, finally breaks apart and pours itself into the sea. This is the rice bowl of the country, impossibly green and fertile and hot, a landscape made more of water than land. You travel it by boat, down brown channels overhung with palms, past stilt houses and orchards, heavy with fruit. And in the early morning you go to the floating markets, where the trade happens boat to boat, hull against hull, each vendor hoisting a sample of what they sell. A pineapple, a bundle of greens, up a tall pole so you can see it from across the water. The abundance down here is overwhelming. The heat, the fruit, the green, the slow brown water. That is the South, and that is the bottom of the country. So that is the through line, and you can feel it now, we hope. Cool, reserved, ancient North, elegant imperial center, hot, fast, abundant South. One country that is honestly 3, and the whole pleasure of it is the change. Now let us get practical, because the shape of this trip matters. Go north to south. Start cool in Hanoi, end warm in the Delta, and let the country open up and heat up as you descend. It just feels right, like a story told in the correct order. You want around 12 to 14 days to do it without rushing. A few days in the north for Hanoi and the Bay, a few in the center for Hue and Hoi An, a few in the south for Saigon and the Delta, and a couple of empty afternoons folded in, because this is still that kind of show. On getting between them, the country is long, and you have 2 good options. The internal flights are cheap, frequent, and quick, and for the big jumps, from the north to the center, and the center to the south, we usually say just fly. An hour in the air buys you half a day on the ground. But there is also the old reunification railway that runs the length of the country, and one stretch in particular, the coastal run through the Central Mountains, is one of the most beautiful train journeys in Asia. So our advice is usually to fly the long hops and take the train for one gorgeous leg and have both. And a real word on weather, because Vietnam will catch you out. Because the country is so long, it does not have one climate. It has several at once. It can be cool and drizzling in Hanoi while it is bright and hot in Saigon on the same day. The regions even run their rainy seasons at different times, so there is no single best month for the whole country. There is only the best month for the particular slice of it you most want to see, and the art is matching your route to the calendar. It is exactly the kind of thing worth getting right beforehand, which is the quiet reason we, JMJ Experiences, exist to handle precisely that. The weather windows and the long hops, and the difference between sleeping on the bay and merely seeing it. If you want to go deeper, we have put together a companion guide to traveling Vietnam end to end, and you will find it on our journal at jmjexperiences.com/journal. Next time, we go somewhere that is the exact opposite of all this motion, out into the middle of the Indian Ocean, to the Maldives, and the strange, total quiet of having nothing around you but water. Until then, wherever you are, we hope you find your small plastic stool and your bowl of something hot and an hour to sit and watch the river go by.